Hi, you have 4 fraction strips on your desks. Yours are smaller than mine, but if you would pick up one right now, we're going to practice folding some fraction strips today. Pick up one and hold it horizontally like the horizon. Then I would like you to fold it in half with a vertical line at the center. Once you've made your crease, open it back up. Yours should look like mine, just smaller. How many equal parts do we now have? This is one whole, but how many equal parts are there? Tell your partner. That's right, 2. There are 2 equal parts. The first part is the second part. And now, what's the length of one piece of the whole? One piece. It's 1/2. So the length of this piece is 1/2. The length of this piece is also 1/2. We have 2 halves. 2 halves make one whole. Take your pencil right now and draw a line on the crease that you created and label each piece as 1/2. We can pause the video so you have enough time to do this. Does your fraction strip look like mine? Here's the line in the center. This is 1/2. The length of this piece is 1/2. The length of this piece is 1/2. We have 2 equal parts. Those 2 halves create one whole. Now take your other 3 fraction strips, and this time I'd like you to create thirds, fourths, and fifths. We'll pause the video for about 3 minutes, and you can work with your partners if you need to, and I think you have extra fraction strips if you need help. Hopefully you've had time to create all of your fraction strips. You should have thirds. You have 3 thirds, make a whole. Fifths, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fifths make a whole. And fourths, 4 fourths create a whole. Today, for our activity, we're going to just work with halves. So I'd like you to take your halves fraction strips, and I'd like you to use your dry erase board. We're going to create a number line on your dry erase board. Use your fraction strip as a ruler on your dry erase board. We're going to create a number line just slightly larger than our fraction strip. And on this number line, let's go ahead and label 0 and 1. Let your teacher know if you need more help doing this or if you need help in general. In between 0 and 1, we know is 1/2, so let's label that. Turn to your partner. Can you come up with another way to name 0? If this is halves, if the size of this line is in halves, what's 0? You should have said 0 halves, so I'm going to rename this as 0 halves. The entire fraction strip is 1 whole. What's another way to label 1 whole using the name halves? It should be 2 halves. 2 halves name 1 whole. Now we're going to try to make some equivalent fractions. So underneath this, somewhere, I'd like you to draw a square. It doesn't have to be perfect. Cut this square in half, partition it by drawing a line down the center, shading in very lightly the first half. We're going to label that 1/2. Looks a little bit like our fraction strip. But now what if we drew another one, did the same thing, but this time partitioned each of these halves in half again? Now, how many pieces do we have now? 2 are shaded out of a total of 4. That's right. we partitioned this into two more pieces. So we multiplied each piece by 2, and that gave us 2/4. Is 2/4 equivalent to 1/2? Is it still half that is shaded? Yes, it is. So right now, if you would, work with your partner to create as many equivalent fractions as you can. We're going to see who can come up with the most. Here are two that I've come up with. Still 1/2. So if I write 1/2 up here, and I partitioned each of the halves by 3, I've multiplied each section by 3. That gives me 3/6. 1, 2, 3 out of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did the same thing over here. I started with 1/2. This time, how many partitions did I make? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I multiplied the top and the bottom by 4. This now equals 4/8. These are all equivalent to 1/2. See if you can make more.